Are you worried about your memory? Does that feeling of brain fog seem to creep in more often than it used to? Or maybe it's not your mind, but your body, a constant, bone-deep fatigue that no amount of sleep can seem to fix. Perhaps it's a strange tingling in your hands or feet, or a subtle feeling of being off balance that makes you hesitate before taking the stairs. If you've ever mentioned these things to friends, family, or even a doctor, you may have been told, well, that's just part of getting older. I'm here today to respectfully but firmly challenge that idea. Those feelings are not just a normal part of aging. They are signals from your body, and they could be pointing to one of the most common, yet most overlooked health issues facing seniors today. In fact, the National Institutes of Health estimates that what we're about to discuss affects around 1 in 10 people age 75 and over. But because its symptoms are so easily dismissed, it often goes completely unrecognized. Today, we are going to do a deep dive into the #1 vitamin deficiency among older adults. We'll talk about 5 specific foods that I believe are crucial to have on your grocery list every single week to build a powerful nutritional defense. But, and this is the most important part of our conversation, we are going to go beyond a simple grocery list. We are going to discuss the critical reason why, for many of us over 50, even a perfect diet might not be enough to solve the problem. This is the piece of the puzzle that is so often missing from the conversation, and it's the key to understanding your own health and taking back control. My goal today is not just to give you a list, but to give you a complete strategy. We'll cover the foods for prevention, the hidden reason your body might be struggling to use those foods, and the exact steps you need to take to get real, definitive answers. You deserve to feel strong, sharp, and energized. Understanding this information is a massive step in that direction. And a quick but important reminder, I'm not a doctor. The information in this video is for educational purposes and is based on extensive research from credible institutions. My purpose is to empower you with knowledge so you can have more informed conversations with your own healthcare provider, who knows your specific health history. Please always consult with your doctor before making any changes to your diet or starting a new supplement regimen. Your health is a team effort, and your doctor is the most important player on your team. So what is this hidden culprit we're talking about? It's vitamin B12. You've likely heard of it, but its importance is hard to overstate. Think of vitamin B12 as the master electrician for your body's nervous system. It's responsible for creating and maintaining the protective sheath called myelin that surrounds your nerves. When that sheath is healthy, your nerve signals, which control everything from your thoughts to your balance to the sensations in your fingertips, travel quickly and efficiently. When B12 is low, that sheath can begin to break down, and the signals get slow, confused, or lost. This is what can lead to the tingling, the memory lapses, and the balance issues. Beyond the nerves, B12 is also a critical player in creating red blood cells that carry oxygen throughout your body. Without enough B12, you can't make enough healthy red blood cells, which means less oxygen gets to your brain and your muscles. A result? That persistent, deep-seated fatigue and brain fog. So B12 isn't just a nice-to-have vitamin. It is absolutely fundamental to your brain health, your nerve function, and your energy levels. With that foundation, let's dive into the 5 powerhouse foods that should be on your weekly shopping list. We'll start with a food that is not only packed with B12, but also celebrated for its incredible brain-boosting benefits. The first food I buy every single week is fatty fish, specifically salmon and tuna. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Fresh salmon can be expensive, and that's a valid concern. But let's look at this from a few angles. Canned salmon and canned tuna are fantastic, affordable and incredibly convenient options. They pack the same nutritional punch without the high price tag or the pressure of cooking a fresh fillet before it goes bad. What makes these fish so special for us? Well, according to the National Institutes of Health, a single serving of salmon or tuna can provide well over 100% of your daily recommended B12. But the magic doesn't stop there. These fish are also rich in two other critical nutrients: vitamin D, which is essential for bone health and immune function, and omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s are the superstars of brain health. Think of them as the ultimate lubrication for your brain's machinery, helping to reduce inflammation and support the structure of brain cells. This combination makes fatty fish a true triple threat for senior health: B12 for nerve function and energy, vitamin D for bone strength to help prevent falls, and omega-3s for cognitive protection. A friend of mine, a wonderful woman named Eleanor, used to tell me she hated fish. After we talked, she decided to try a simple experiment. Once a week, she made a simple tuna salad with Greek yogurt instead of mayonnaise, a little celery, and some lemon juice, and had it on whole wheat crackers. Within a month, she told me it had become her favorite lunch. So the action step here is simple. Find a way to incorporate fatty fish into your diet at least once, ideally twice, a week. Whether it's a beautiful baked salmon fillet for dinner or a simple can of tuna for a quick and easy lunch, you are making a profound investment in your neurological health. From the sea, we move to the land. The second food group that is a non-negotiable on my weekly list is lean meats and poultry, particularly chicken breast and turkey. For many of us, a meal doesn't quite feel complete without a quality source of protein at its center, and there's good reason for that. Protein is the building block of our muscles, and maintaining muscle mass as we age is one of the single most important things we can do to protect our independence. But beyond the muscle-building protein, lean meats like chicken and turkey are absolute B12 powerhouses. A single serving of turkey or chicken can easily meet your daily B12 needs. The reason I specify lean is important. These options give you all the B12 and protein benefits without the high levels of saturated fat found in some red meats, which can be a concern for heart health. I remember my own father, who was a man of simple tastes. He wasn't interested in fancy recipes, but he understood strength. His go-to lunch was often leftover roasted chicken from the night before. He knew instinctively that it kept him feeling strong and satisfied. He was right. That lean protein was helping to preserve the muscle he needed to stay steady on his feet, and the B12 was helping to protect the nerves that controlled those muscles. The connection between what we eat and our risk of falling is incredibly direct. Research has shown that malnourished older adults are a staggering 64% more likely to experience a fall. So the action step here is to think about incorporating lean poultry into your meal planning. A simple roasted chicken on a Sunday can provide delicious meals for days. You can slice it for sandwiches, shred it for soups, or add it to salads. It's versatile, relatively inexpensive, and it's doing double duty, protecting your muscles with protein and fortifying your nervous system with B12. Now, let's talk about what might be the most humble, yet one of the most versatile, nutrient powerhouses in the entire grocery store. The third food I always have in my refrigerator is eggs. For years, eggs got a bad rap because of concerns about cholesterol, but thankfully, modern science has largely exonerated them. Major health organizations, including the American Heart Association, now recognize that for most healthy adults, eggs can be a wonderful part of a heart-healthy diet. And for our purposes, they are a fantastic source of vitamin B12. Just 2 large eggs can provide almost half of your daily B12 requirement. What I love about eggs is their sheer accessibility. They are affordable, they are easy to cook, and you can prepare them in a dozen different ways so you never get bored. They are also packed with high-quality protein and another nutrient vital for brain health called choline. Choline is involved in memory and mood regulation, making eggs a truly comprehensive brain food. I often think of a neighbor of mine who, after her husband passed, found herself cooking for one and losing her motivation to make elaborate meals. She fell into a pattern of just having toast for breakfast, and her energy levels plummeted. We talked about it, and she started a new simple ritual: 2 scrambled eggs every morning. It took 5 minutes, but it changed her entire day. She felt fuller longer. She had more energy for her morning walk, and she said she just felt sharper. The action step is clear. Don't be afraid of eggs. Keep a carton in your fridge at all times. Whether they are scrambled, boiled, or fried, they are one of the easiest and most effective ways to consistently get B12 into your diet. Moving on to our fourth food group, this is one that supports not just our nerves, but our very framework, our bones. I'm talking about dairy products like milk, yogurt, and cheese. For generations, we've known that dairy is crucial for its calcium content, which is the cornerstone of strong bones and a key defense against osteoporosis. But dairy products are also an excellent and readily available source of vitamin B12. A single cup of milk or yogurt can provide a significant portion of your daily B12 needs. What's wonderful about this category is the variety and the options available for everyone. If you enjoy a glass of milk, that's fantastic. If you prefer yogurt, especially plain Greek yogurt, you're getting the B12 plus a healthy dose of protein and probiotics for gut health. Now, I know many people are lactose intolerant or choose to avoid dairy for other reasons. The good news is that the food industry has responded. Many dairy-free alternatives like almond milk, soy milk, or oat milk are now fortified with both calcium and vitamin B12. The key is to become a savvy label reader. When you pick up that carton of almond milk, turn it over and look at the nutrition panel. Make sure you see that it's been fortified with B12. This ensures you're not missing out on this vital nutrient. Think of it this way: calcium and B12 work together as a team to keep you upright and steady. The calcium strengthens the bones, your body's support beams, while the B12 protects the nerves that control your balance and coordination. One without the other is only half the solution. So the action step is to find a dairy or fortified dairy alternative product that you enjoy and make it the regular part of your routine. Whether it's milk in your morning coffee, yogurt as a snack, or a fortified option in your cereal. All right, let's just take a quick pause here. We are 4/5 of the way through our powerhouse food list. We've covered fatty fish for B12 and omega-3s, lean poultry for B12 and muscle-sparing protein, eggs for B12 and choline, and dairy for B12 and bone-building calcium. You can already see how these foods work together to build a comprehensive defense system for your body and your brain. If you're finding this deep dive helpful and are learning something new, I would be so grateful if you could take just a moment to tap that like button below this video. It truly helps the channel and allows this information to reach more people who might really need to hear it. Thank you so much for that. Now for our fifth and final food. This one is a bit different from the others, and it serves as the perfect bridge to the most critical part of our discussion today. The fifth food I recommend is fortified breakfast cereal. I'm not talking about the sugary, brightly colored cereals from our childhood. I'm talking about simple, whole grain, high fiber cereals like bran flakes or oat squares, that have been specifically fortified with vitamins and minerals, including vitamin B12. And here is the crucial point, a point confirmed by researchers at Harvard Health Publishing. The form of B12 used to fortify foods, known as cyanocobalamin, is a synthetic or man-made version. Normally, synthetic sounds like a bad thing, but in this one specific case, it's actually a huge advantage for older adults. This synthetic B12 is free. It's not bound to food proteins like the B12 in fish, meat, or eggs. This means your body doesn't have to perform the difficult step of separating the vitamin from the protein in your stomach. It's essentially pre-digested and much easier for an aging digestive system to absorb. This makes fortified cereal one of the most reliable dietary sources of B12 for seniors. The action step is to become a detective in the cereal aisle. Ignore the cartoon characters on the front of the box and turn it straight over to the nutrition facts. Look for two things: a low sugar content and a high percentage of your daily value for vitamin B12, often 25% or even 100% in some brands. A bowl of fortified cereal with milk or a fortified milk alternative is a double whammy of easily absorbable B12. And this very concept, the idea that one form of B12 is easier to absorb than another, brings us to the absolute core of our conversation today. This is the critical turning point. We've just built a perfect B12-rich grocery list. So why might it not be enough? Why could a person eat salmon, chicken, eggs, yogurt, and fortified cereal every single week and still end up dangerously deficient in vitamin B12? The answer has nothing to do with what's on your plate, and everything to do with what's happening inside your stomach. The real issue for a huge number of seniors is not intake, but absorption. As we age, a condition called atrophic gastritis becomes increasingly common. Let's break that down. Gastritis just means inflammation of the stomach lining, and atrophic means a thinning or wasting away, according to the Merck Manual. This condition affects a staggering 30 to 50% of people over the age of 50. Let me repeat that, because it's so important. Up to half of all older adults may be dealing with this. When your stomach lining thins, it produces less stomach acid. This is a huge problem for B12 absorption. Remember how we talked about B12 in natural foods like fish and meat being tightly bound to proteins? You need strong stomach acid to act like a key, unlocking the B12 from that protein so your body can use it. With atrophic gastritis, you have less acid. Your body has lost its key. So that beautiful piece of salmon full of B12 passes through your stomach, but your body can't unlock and absorb the vitamin. The B12 essentially gets flushed out of your system, unused. This is the hidden reason why so many seniors become deficient despite eating a healthy diet. They are putting all the right things in, but their body's internal machinery is no longer equipped to process it. And there's another very common factor that can block B12 absorption. Millions of Americans take medications for acid reflux or heartburn, like proton pump inhibitors or H2 blockers. These drugs work by intentionally reducing the amount of acid in your stomach to relieve discomfort. While they can be very effective for heartburn, as a direct consequence, they also reduce your ability to absorb B12 from food. Yale Medicine has highlighted this connection, noting that long-term use of these medications is a known risk factor for developing a deficiency. This is a classic example of where you have to be your own health advocate. This is why the advice to just eat more B12 can be frustrating and frankly ineffective for so many people. It's like telling someone with a locked car door to just pull harder on the handle. The problem isn't the effort. The problem is the lock. So if diet alone might not be the answer, what is? This brings us to our two crucial, empowering action steps. The first step is to learn to recognize the symptoms, not so you can diagnose yourself, but so you know when to raise your hand and ask for help. The National Health Service in the UK provides a clear list of the common, often ignored signs of B12 deficiency. Let's go through them. First, a pale yellow tinge to your skin. Second, a sore and red tongue, a condition called glossitis. Third, mouth ulcers. Fourth, pins and needles, that strange tingling sensation, also known as paresthesia. Fifth, changes in the way you walk and move, or feeling off balance. Sixth, disturbed vision. And finally, the psychological changes, which can be the most frightening: irritability, depression, changes in the way you think, feel, and behave, and a decline in your mental abilities, such as memory, understanding, and judgment. Now, reading that list can be scary, but knowledge is power. If you've been experiencing a combination of these symptoms, perhaps the overwhelming fatigue, the tingling in your feet, and the frustrating brain fog, and have been dismissing it as just aging, this is your wake-up call. This leads us directly to the second and most important actionable step. If these symptoms sound familiar, you need to empower yourself at your next doctor's appointment. Your mission is to ask your doctor for a simple blood test to check your vitamin B12 levels. This step is so critical because it moves you from a world of guessing and worrying into a world of concrete data. The Cleveland Clinic emphasizes that a blood test is the definitive way to diagnose a deficiency and, just as importantly, to rule out other serious issues that could be causing your symptoms. When you talk to your doctor, be specific. You can say something like, "I've been experiencing persistent fatigue, some memory fog, and occasional tingling in my feet. I've read that these can be symptoms of vitamin B12 deficiency, which is common in older adults. Would it be possible to run a blood test to check my B12 levels? Just to be sure." A diagnosis is everything, because if it turns out you do have a clinically diagnosed deficiency, especially one caused by an absorption problem like atrophic gastritis, the solution is not a salmon dinner. The solution is medical treatment, which usually involves high-dose oral B12 supplements, or in many cases, B12 injections. These methods bypass the broken lock in your stomach entirely, delivering the B12 directly into your system, where it can get to work repairing your nerves and building healthy red blood cells. Trying to treat a true deficiency with food alone is like trying to fill a swimming pool with a leaky bucket. Getting the right diagnosis leads to the right treatment. So let's bring this all together into an empowered path forward. We've covered a tremendous amount of ground today, and I want to distill it down to its most powerful, actionable core. Your strategy for fighting the #1 senior vitamin deficiency is a two-pronged approach. Prong 1 is prevention and support through your diet. This is where you take control of your grocery cart. Fill your plate with those 5 powerhouse food groups: fatty fish, lean poultry, eggs, dairy or fortified alternatives, and fortified cereals. This builds an incredibly strong nutritional foundation. But the second prong is where you truly step into your power as the CEO of your own health. It is recognizing that diet has its limits. If you are experiencing the persistent, nagging symptoms we discussed, the fatigue, the fog, the tingling, the unsteadiness, you must pivot from the kitchen to the clinic. You must empower yourself by having that direct, specific conversation with your doctor to get a real diagnosis. This is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of intelligence. It's acknowledging the biological changes that can happen as we age and using modern medicine to address them effectively. Taking control of your health means getting the right information and then getting the right treatment that is personalized for you. It's about refusing to accept that feeling unwell is just part of getting older, and instead demanding answers and solutions. Now, I would love to hear from you. We've discussed a lot, from food to a hidden stomach condition to specific conversations with your doctor. Which of these points was the biggest aha moment for you? Was it the idea that fortified cereal can be a good thing? Or the statistic about how common atrophic gastritis is? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Reading your experiences helps everyone in this community learn and feel less alone on this journey. And if you enjoyed this deep dive and appreciate this approach to health that respects your intelligence, please be sure to hit subscribe and ring that little notification bell so you won't miss our future videos. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. My hope is that you leave this video feeling not worried, but empowered. You have the knowledge. You have the strategy. Now you can take action. Be well, stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video.